Have you ever looked at your code and just wished it was, well, a little more intuitive? A bit cleaner? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful C++ feature that does exactly that. It's a way to make your own custom classes behave just like the simple, built-in types you use every single day.
So take a look at these two snippets. On the left, you've got a function call. On the right, just a simple plus sign. Now, they both do the exact same thing. They're adding two employee objects together. But be honest, which one just feels right? Which one is easier to understand at a glance? It's the plus sign, isn't it? So the big question is, how do we teach our own custom objects to understand these familiar operators?
Well, the answer is a really cool technique called operator overloading. Think of it like this. C++ already knows exactly what the plus sign means when it sees two numbers. But what about when it sees two of our objects, like our employee class? Operator overloading is how we teach C++ a new trick. We're giving these old, familiar operators some brand new superpowers. So, to put it a little more formally, we're defining additional meanings for operators so they can work with our own custom types. Now, I know that might sound like some kind of complex compiler magic, but the secret behind how this all works is actually surprisingly simple. And here it is. This is the big secret. Operators are really just functions in disguise. That's it. When the compiler sees something like clerk plus driver, it's secretly just translating that into a function call behind the scenes, something like clerk.operator plus driver. Once you understand that, the whole idea just clicks. We're not hacking the language at all. We're just writing special functions that C++ knows how to call in this really elegant, readable way.
And writing one of these functions looks almost exactly like writing any other function. You've got your return type, then you have the special operator keyword. You tell it which symbol you're overloading, like the plus sign, and then you give it the parameters it needs. This is the blueprint we give C++ to teach it a new skill.
Okay, so before you get too excited and start giving superpowers to every symbol on your keyboard, we need to talk about the rules. Because with great power comes some pretty strict guidelines. There are some things you absolutely can and cannot do. Now, the most important thing to remember here is that you're extending the language. You're not rewriting it from scratch. You can't change the fundamental rules, like operator precedence. Multiplication is always going to happen before addition. You can't change how many things an operator works on. A plus sign will always need two operands. You can't just invent new operators, like a double star for exponents. And this one's huge. You can't change how operators already work for built-in types, like integers. These rules are what keep C++ predictable and sane for everyone.
So here's your playground. On the left, you've got all the operators that are fair game, all the arithmetic and comparison stuff, and some really useful ones, like the square brackets for array access. But on the right, that's the do not touch list. Operators like the dot for accessing members or the double colon for scope, they're just too fundamental to the language's grammar to ever be changed.
All right, let's talk about a classic trap. This is something that gets almost everybody when they first start using this technique. It's a subtle but super frustrating problem that pops up when you try to chain operations together. It's a real gotcha moment.
I mean, just look at this line of code. It seems totally logical, right? We want to add up the salaries of a clerk, a driver, and a secretary. It's clean, it's readable, and it's going to fail. The compiler's going to throw an error. So, why? What's wrong here?
Take a second. Think about it. The syntax looks perfect. The problem isn't what you see. It's hidden in the logic of what's getting passed from one addition to the next.
And there's our culprit. See, in this first attempt, our operator plus function, it returns a double. So when the compiler sees clerk plus driver, it correctly calculates the sum of their salaries and gets back a number. But then the code tries to do the next part, a number plus secretary. And C++ just stops and says, whoa, hold on. You never told me how to add a number to an employee object. The chain is completely broken.
And here is the beautiful, elegant solution. You change the operator plus function so that it returns a new temporary employee object. Now when the compiler evaluates clerk plus driver, the result isn't a number. It's another employee. And that new object can be perfectly added to secretary, and the chain works exactly like you'd expect. This is a crucial design pattern. For operators to be chainable, they have to return an object of their own class.
So far, we've been really focused on the plus sign, but the real power here is just how versatile this whole concept is. It is about so much more than just doing arithmetic. Let's look at a couple of other incredibly useful examples.
How cool is this? You can overload the square brackets, the subscript operator, and make your custom objects behave just like arrays. Imagine you have a student class that holds a bunch of grades. Instead of a clunky function call like student.getGrade3, you can just write student3. It makes your object feel like it's a native part of the language. It's so much cleaner.
And this might just be the most common and powerful use of them all. You can teach Cout how to print your objects directly. No more writing custom .print methods for every single class you create. You just overload the left-left operator, and suddenly you can print your objects to the console just as easily as you can print a number or a string. For debugging alone, this is an absolute game changer.
Which brings us to the real philosophy behind all of this. The ultimate goal is always, always clarity. When you do it well, it makes the code feel completely natural and intuitive. But when it's misused, if you did something crazy like overload the plus sign to perform subtraction, it just creates a confusing puzzle for the next person who has to read your code.
And that's the big question I want to leave you with. Just because you can overload an operator, does that really mean you should? Where's that line between making code more intuitive and just being clever in a way that actually makes it more confusing? That's something every great programmer has to think about. Thanks for joining me.